Hello and welcome to your daily English listening practice. Today we will follow a story about a person named Alex. Listen slowly. Pause when you hear a natural break. Repeat or shadow each sentence. We will go through a typical day, morning to evening. The language is clear and friendly, perfect for intermediate learners. Remember, pause, repeat, and enjoy. Ready to start? Let's begin. Our story is called A Day in the Life of Alex. The gentle sound of an alarm clock filled the small apartment. It was 6:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in the big city. Alex slowly opened his eyes, blinking against the soft morning light. He filled the kettle and switched it on. He poured a tall glass of orange juice, enjoying the cold, sweet taste. The steam rose from his cup, warming his face. This simple routine helped him feel grounded and ready. Chapter: A New Day in the City. The gentle sound of an alarm clock filled the small apartment. It was 6:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in the big city. Alex slowly opened his eyes, blinking against the soft morning light. The city was already waking up, and the distant hum of traffic was like a steady heartbeat. Alex stretched his arms above his head, feeling sleepiness leave his body. He pulled up the blinds, letting morning light flood the room. He took a deep breath, smelling coffee from a cafe down the street. He walked to the kitchen, his bare feet cool on the wooden floor. He filled the kettle and switched it on. While waiting, he took milk and a carton of orange juice. He poured hot water over a tea bag. English breakfast today. He turned on the TV to catch the morning news volume low. He checked his phone for important messages from work. Finishing his tea, he stood up, dressed, and left for the office. The hallway was quiet, but below the streets were dotted with people heading to work. The morning air was cool as Alex stepped out of his apartment building. The city was alive with energy, cars honking, bicycles whizzing by, and people hurrying along the sidewalks. Dressed in a crisp blue shirt and dark trousers, Alex grabbed his backpack and took a deep breath, ready for the day ahead. He checked his pockets for his wallet, keys, Idaho, and headphones, making sure nothing was forgotten. As he walked down the 3 flights of stairs, his footsteps echoed in the quiet hallway. Outside, the city felt fresh and full of possibility. People passed by, some sipping coffee, others talking on phones, and a few walking dogs. Everyone seemed to have a destination and a purpose. Alex noticed a street vendor setting up a cart, the smell of fresh bagels and coffee filling the air. He smiled at the familiar sight. The city sounded busy. Horns, voices, and the distant rumble of a subway train below the streets. He passed a flower shop, the bright colors of tulips and daisies standing out against the gray sidewalk. Alex breathed in the fresh scent as he walked by. At the corner, Alex waited for the light to change. He watched cyclists rush past and a bus full of commuters stop to pick up passengers. As he crossed the street, he noticed a little girl holding her mother's hand, laughing as they walked to school. The city was a patchwork of stories, each person living their own morning routine. Soon, Alex reached the subway entrance. He descended the stairs, the sound of his footsteps mixing with the echoes of others. The subway station was bright and busy. People waited on the platform, some reading newspapers, others checking their phones. Alex swiped his card at the turnstile and joined the crowd. He noticed a man in a suit reading a book and a teenager listening to music. The train arrived with a loud rush of air. The doors slid open and everyone stepped inside. Inside it was crowded. People stood shoulder to shoulder, holding on to metal poles. Some were reading, others scrolling on their phones, and a few just looked out the window. Alex put in his headphones and selected his favorite podcast. The familiar voices made him feel calm and ready for the day. The train moved forward, the rhythmic clatter of the tracks a familiar sound. Outside the window, city buildings, parks, and bridges flashed by. Alex watched other passengers, a woman in a red coat smiling at her phone, an elderly man reading the newspaper, and a young girl drawing in a notebook. He thought about his plans for the day, meetings at work, lunch with Maria, and maybe a walk in the park afterwards. The train slowed down at each station. New passengers boarded, others left. The subway felt like a small cross-section of the whole city. Alex noticed a poster on the wall, a concert coming soon. He made a mental note to tell his friends. The train emerged from underground for a moment, and sunlight filled the carriage. The view of the city skyline was beautiful. Soon the train entered a tunnel again. The lights inside flickered and the sounds of the city faded away. After several stops, the train slowed down. A voice announced the next station, Alex's stop. He stood up, put away his headphones, and moved toward the doors with the other passengers. The doors opened, and Alex stepped out onto the platform. The morning commute was over, and a new day was about to begin. The train pulled into Alex's stop. He stood, gathered his things, and stepped onto the platform, joining the flow of commuters. The station was filled with the sounds of footsteps, voices, and the distant rumble of another train arriving. Alex moved with the crowd toward the exit, feeling the energy of a new workday. He joined the crowd moving toward the exit. Outside, the city air was cool and fresh. Alex walked briskly, passing a line of people waiting for coffee at a street cart. He smiled at the familiar faces he saw each morning. His office was in a tall glass building, a short walk from the station. As he approached the building, sunlight reflected off the windows. The lobby was bright and modern, filled with the sound of footsteps and quiet conversation. He bought a coffee, saying "Good morning" to the vendor. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air. Alex took a sip, feeling the warmth in his hands. He greeted the security guard with a nod and a smile. He walked through the revolving doors into a spacious lobby. The elevator chimed. Alex pressed the button for the 15th floor and waited with a small group of colleagues exchanging friendly nods. He nodded to the security guard, pressed the elevator button for the 15th floor. The elevator doors opened with a soft ding. Alex stepped out onto his floor, greeted by the hum of computers and the gentle clatter of keyboards. The office had a low, productive hum. Colleagues were at their desks. Alex set his coffee down, powered on his computer, and tidied his desk. He arranged his notepad, checked his calendar, and smiled at a photo of his family. Alex set down his coffee, powered on his computer, and tidied his desk. "Morning, Alex," called Maria from across the room. "Good morning, Sarah," he replied, waving. The office was alive with greetings and laughter. "Morning, Alex," said Maria. "Good morning, Sarah," he replied. Alex joined a small group at the meeting table. They discussed the day's projects, shared ideas, and made plans for the week. The whiteboard filled with notes and sketches. The friendly banter created a positive atmosphere. After the meeting, Alex returned to his desk. He answered emails, reviewed documents, and focused on a new project. The office buzzed with quiet concentration. He watered his small desk plant, a little piece of green. A colleague stopped by with a question. They chatted briefly, sharing a laugh about last night's soccer game. Alex enjoyed these small moments of connection. He turned to his computer, ready to start his day. The smell of fresh coffee drifted through the office. Alex took a break, joining a few colleagues by the coffee machine. They talked about weekend plans and shared a few jokes. The morning was productive, and the day moved forward. By late morning, sunlight streamed through the windows. Alex looked around at his colleagues, some deep in thought, others on phone calls, a few sharing a quiet laugh. The office felt like a community, each person playing a part. As lunchtime approached, Alex finished his last email and stretched, feeling satisfied with a morning well spent. At noon, Maria turned to Alex and said, "Ready for lunch?" Alex smiled and nodded, closing his laptop. They joined a group of co-workers at a large table by the window. Sunlight streamed in, making the room feel warm and welcoming. Alex replied, "I'm starving. Let's go." As they walked to the cafe, Maria asked, "Did you see the email about the team picnic next week?" Alex laughed. "Yes! I hope the weather is nice. I'm bringing my famous pasta salad." Another coworker, Sam, joined them. "Hey, are you two trying the new food truck today?" he asked. Maria replied, "Maybe. I heard their tacos are amazing." They wandered among cafes and food trucks, exploring options. The group stopped to look at a menu. Alex pointed, "Look, they have vegetarian wraps and spicy noodles." Sam grinned. "I'll try the noodles. I like it hot." Maria asked, "What's your favorite lunch, Alex?" He thought for a moment. "Probably grilled cheese and tomato soup. It reminds me of home." Maria suggested a new sandwich shop on Grove Street with amazing grilled cheese. They entered the shop, greeted by the smell of fresh bread and melted cheese. The walls were decorated with colorful art and photos of happy customers. They ordered and found a small table by the window. Alex and Maria sat with Sam and two other colleagues, Priya and Daniel. Everyone shared stories about their favorite foods from childhood. Priya described a spicy curry her grandmother used to make. Daniel talked about homemade pizza nights with his family. Laughter filled the table. Alex chose grilled cheese with tomato soup. Maria chose turkey and avocado. The food arrived, hot and delicious. Alex dipped his sandwich into the soup and smiled. "This is perfect," he said. Maria took a bite of her sandwich and nodded. "So fresh, I love avocado." Sam tried the spicy noodles and fanned his mouth, making everyone laugh. The conversation flowed easily. They talked about a new movie. Daniel asked, "Has anyone seen the new superhero movie?" Priya replied, "Not yet. Is it good?" Alex said, "It's fun and exciting. The special effects are amazing." Maria shared, "I prefer comedies. They help me relax after a long day." The group agreed, sharing their favorite funny movies and TV shows. Alex asked, "So, how's your project coming along?" Maria answered, "It's going well, but I have a lot to do. The deadline is next Friday." Alex nodded, "Let me know if you need help." Priya added, "We should have a team lunch when the project is done." Everyone agreed, already planning what to eat next time. She said, "It's going well, but a bit challenging. We have a tight deadline." Daniel joked, "We should ask the boss for a pizza party if we finish early." Laughter echoed around the table. Alex offered a suggestion. Maria listened and was grateful. The group talked about their favorite places to eat in the city. Sam recommended a new Thai restaurant. Priya described a bakery with the best chocolate cake. Alex made a note to try the bakery. "Chocolate cake sounds perfect for Friday," he said. "That's a great idea," he said. "I hadn't thought of that. Thanks, Maria." As they finished eating, the group played a quick game of two truths and a lie. Maria said, "I've been skydiving, I speak 3 languages, and I hate chocolate." Alex guessed, "You don't hate chocolate." Maria laughed, "You're right." The table was filled with smiles, friendly teasing, and the sound of clinking glasses. Lunch was a time to connect, share ideas, and rest. As the lunch break ended, everyone helped clear the table. Alex thanked Maria for inviting him. "Let's do this again soon," he said. The group stepped outside, feeling refreshed and ready for the afternoon. The city buzzed with energy as they walked back to the office together. They returned refreshed, ready for the afternoon. After a productive afternoon, Alex packed up his desk at 5 o'clock. He said goodbye to Maria and his colleagues. Instead of the subway, he took a short detour. The weather was too beautiful. The park was a 10-minute walk away, his place to decompress. Alex walked slowly along a winding path, surrounded by tall green trees and the gentle sound of birds singing. He paused to watch sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns on the grass. The air was fresh and cool, and Alex took a deep breath, feeling tension leave his body. He found a quiet bench under a large oak tree and sat down. Closing his eyes for a moment, he listened to the distant laughter of children and the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. Opening his eyes, Alex watched a group of birds hopping on the grass nearby. He smiled as a small sparrow landed close, pecking at crumbs left by a picnic. He stood and wandered along a flower-lined path, admiring the bright colors of tulips and daisies. The gentle scent of flowers drifted in the air. Alex found another bench near a small pond. He watched ducks gliding across the water and listened to the gentle splash as they dipped their heads. He noticed a family having a picnic on the grass, their laughter soft and happy. Nearby, a couple walked a dog, and a group of friends played frisbee. Alex leaned back, feeling the cool bench against his back. He closed his eyes again, focusing on the gentle breeze brushing his face and the distant sound of a fountain. He reflected on his day, the busy morning, friendly lunch, and now this peaceful moment. He felt grateful for the chance to slow down and enjoy the world around him. After a while, Alex took out a small notebook and pen. He wrote a few lines about what he saw and how he felt, capturing the calmness of the afternoon. He watched the clouds drift across the sky, changing shapes slowly. The sun was lower now, casting long shadows and a golden light over the park. Alex stood and stretched, feeling relaxed and refreshed. He took one last slow walk along the path, smiling at the beauty of the trees and flowers. He entered an open lawn, tall trees and winding paths. He found an empty bench under a large oak tree and sat down. He took a deep breath, letting the peaceful atmosphere wash over him. He watched friends playing frisbee, a couple walking a dog, and an elderly man feeding pigeons. He pulled a small book from his backpack and read a few pages. This quiet time helped him find balance in a busy life. He sat for about half an hour watching the light change. The late afternoon sun cast a warm, golden glow. Feeling refreshed, he closed his book, stood, and walked toward home. Leaving the tranquility of the park behind, Alex walked toward a different station. The city streets were alive with the colors of sunset. Orange and pink light reflected off glass buildings, and long shadows stretched across the sidewalks. Alex passed small shops with bright signs and the smell of fresh bread drifting from a bakery. He smiled at a group of children laughing outside an ice cream shop. The sound of distant music and the buzz of conversation filled the air. Street performers played guitar near the subway entrance and people dropped coins into an open case. The sun was beginning to set. Orange, pink, purple. As he walked, Alex noticed a couple taking photos of the sky, and a dog walker waving to a friend across the street. The air smelled of fresh coffee and roasted nuts from a street vendor. Alex breathed in deeply, feeling relaxed. He enjoyed the walk, noticing building details and small city moments. He paused to look at a window display filled with colorful books and art supplies. Inside, a shop owner arranged flowers in a vase. Alex watched a busy crosswalk as people hurried home, some talking on phones, others laughing with friends. Streets were filled with people heading home, shopping, or meeting friends. The lights from cars and shop windows began to glow brighter as the sky grew darker. Alex felt the energy of the city shifting from day to night. He passed a flower stand, the scent of fresh blooms mixing with the cool evening air. He bought a small bouquet to brighten his apartment. He descended into a quieter subway station for his evening ride. The station was cool and quiet, with only a few people waiting on the platform. Alex listened to the echo of footsteps and the distant sound of a train approaching. He glanced at a poster for a local concert and made a note to check it out later. The train was only half full. He found a seat easily. Alex sat by the window watching the city lights blur as the train moved. He saw familiar landmarks flash by and wondered about the lives of other passengers. A young woman read a book, an elderly man napped, and a teenager listened to music. The train felt peaceful, a small world moving through the night. He chose calm instrumental music. As the train emerged above ground, the view opened to a river glowing with reflected lights. Alex watched the water shimmer and felt a sense of calm. The train traveled above ground, revealing a stunning sunset over the river. He thought about his day, the busy morning, the laughter at lunch, the peaceful park, and now this quiet moment. These small moments made city life worthwhile. The train slowed at his stop. Alex stood, smiling at a little girl who waved goodbye to the conductor. He thought about his day. Productive morning, nice lunch, relaxing park time. Outside, the evening air was cool. Streetlights cast golden circles on the sidewalk, and the sounds of the city were softer now. Alex walked past a small cafe, the smell of fresh coffee and soft jazz music floating out the door. He waved to the barista, who smiled in return. When the train arrived, he walked the familiar blocks back. He passed a neighbor walking a dog and stopped to chat for a moment about the weather. The dog wagged its tail happily. Streetlights cast a warm glow. He greeted a neighbor walking a dog. As he reached his building, Alex looked up at the stars beginning to appear above the rooftops. He felt grateful for the simple joys of the day. He unlocked his apartment and climbed the stairs, glad to be home. This simple routine brought contentment after a full day. Once inside, Alex dropped his keys and backpack. He changed into a soft t-shirt and sweatpants. For dinner, he made a simple pasta, chopping garlic and tomatoes. The process was therapeutic, stirring, tasting, adding herbs. He sat down, savoring every bite. After dinner, he cleaned the kitchen. He chose to read instead of watching TV. he curled up with a blanket and a cup of herbal tea. The room was lit by a warm lamp, peaceful and quiet. An hour later, he marked his page, did light stretches, and brushed his teeth. He stood by the window, grateful for his job, friends, and home. He got into bed, turned off the lamp, and drifted off to sleep. And so Alex's day comes to an end. We followed his morning alarm, routine, work, lunch, park, and home. This story is a tool, a collection of everyday words and natural phrases. Listen again and again. Each time you will understand a little more. Pause now. Repeat the sentences out loud. Copy the pronunciation and intonation. Imagine you are Alex. Feel the language. Use it. Even 15 minutes a day helps. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Keep trying. Keep practicing. Find stories, podcasts, and music. Make learning fun. Thank you for listening today. Keep up the great work. We'll see you next time for another listening adventure. You can do this. Practice every day. Each step is progress.